DC, seriously? Hey there, guys. Welcome to another video from Bronzeville Comics. This video is going to be focusing more on the DC TV side of DC Comics rather than the actual books themselves. And we had some big and really disappointing news today. And that was that the Batgirl movie that was supposed to be an HBO Max film rather than a theatrical release has been canceled. It's in post-production. They finished filming it. They did a preview screening. And it's completely scrapped. It's dead, buried, likely never to see the light of day. If you enjoy this content, please comment, like, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Bronzeville_comics. I sell comic books on Whatnot at Bronzeville_comics. And I have an eBay store in the link in the description below. So the Batgirl film that was directed by Adil El-Arbi and Bilal Fallah has been completely canceled. Leslie Grace was set to star as Batgirl, J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon, and Michael Keaton was supposed to make an appearance as Batman. Now, this comes on the heels of this weekend, the revelation that Ben Affleck's Batman is going to be in the Aquaman movie. So it brought up the question, is how are you going to justify having two Batmen in the same universe, potentially? Well, this isn't related to that because this decision was not at all a creative decision. Basically, Discovery and had bought out Warner Brothers. And David Zaslav is the head honcho over at this new, the new CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. And he basically is just setting everything on fire. They have canceled almost all the CW shows, including announcing, which isn't really a big surprise, that Flash's final season will be just 13 episodes this coming season. Naomi was canceled, Batwoman, Supergirl had already been canceled, Legends of Tomorrow. Leaving up in the air, we still don't know what's going to happen with Superman and Lois, and Stargirl. Stargirl set to premiere later this month. And he had already, before it even started filming, they're just about to start filming the Wonder Twins movie. That was scrapped. And so here we are. They're already facing problems that they haven't addressed. The biggest, the elephant in the room is Ezra Miller, who's headlining the Flash movie, which is one of their tentpole movies. And evidently Zaslav wanted to go away from the previous regime's business model of releasing films, smaller films, to HBO Max. Now, last year, during the pandemic, they released a lot of their big budget films, including the new Matrix film, among others, on HBO Max as well as in theaters, while theater viewership was down because of COVID. But the biggest reason seems to be something that came up. They talked about the test screening and it being disappointing, but it seems as though this idea of purchase accounting, which is basically giving the acquiring company the ability to write off assets as a tax write-off and take the loss. So I guess Warner Brothers figured it would be more cost beneficial to just write off the film, which cost somewhere between $70 and $90 million, rather than trying to recoup the money they had spent on the film through getting subscriptions for HBO Max. Since it wasn't going to be released theatrically, it wasn't going to have a box office. So it would only be this kind of vague number in terms of how many people are subscribing to the platform to see this particular movie. This is similar to when they had the the DC Universe streaming service that eventually got gobbled up by HBO Max, that had this Swamp Thing TV series that lasted just one season, despite being very well received by fans and critics because of some accounting deal with a tax break they were getting from the state of Georgia that they no longer got. But evidently, this purchase accounting, they have the right to write off these assets up until the middle of this month. So they were working on that. And, if we can get through the next few weeks without anything else being scrapped, maybe we'll actually see these films. The powers that be at Warner Brothers Discovery said that, now I should say, the directors who I mentioned, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, also worked on the Ms. Marvel show for Disney+. So these are not untalented individuals, and they know their way around this genre. I really enjoyed the Ms. Marvel show, and it did have a definite quality to it. They've worked together and had some theatrical releases, which I'm unfamiliar with. The most recent one was 2020's Bad Boys for Life. They also did Black and Gangsta. Again, not shows I'm familiar with. They did direct 2 episodes of Ms. Marvel. The screenplay was written by Christina Hodson, who wrote the screenplay to Birds of Prey. But they talked specifically about the directors and about the lead actress, Leslie Grace, who won acclaim for her role in the Heights, that these are talented individuals we want to work with together, yada, 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 really giving them lip service. But what Warner Brothers seems to be missing is their fans. And this is, again, wasn't a creative decision. There are conflicting reports whether it was disappointing and irredeemable in a test screening, or if it wasn't that bad and, had some promise once the visual effects were finished. We'll never know, I guess. But it seems more like an accounting decision, and also Zaslav trying to just, again, set fire to everything that's gone before him. And he really has to prove that he has a plan for the DC characters in their movie and TV stable. We've heard a lot of plans that often haven't come to fruition, have been delayed, have been spoken about and not followed up on. We still think there's a Green Lantern Corps TV series coming. When they announced that with HBO Max, they talked about a Strange Adventures TV series, talk about Justice League Dark, the New Gods property. Diana DuVernay was canceled. And this precedes Zaslav. But Zaslav has to prove that he is committed to this intellectual property and that he can create content that will appeal not only to fans of the comics and of the characters, but to a broader base of fans that they're going to bring in, that you need to bring in to have very successful theatrical releases. And I guess potentially Zaslav is more of a businessman, and potentially he's making shareholders happy. I am not really a shareholder in Warner Brothers Discovery, and at this point I wouldn't be buying stock in them because this just looks like a burning barge of garbage that's headed down the river. They have to prove something. Now, they do have a lot invested in the Black Adam film, and then the Shazam film coming right on its heels. We also have the Aquaman film coming up. After that, we have no idea what their plans are. The Flash film is next year. Now, the Aquaman, they put out little teasers from that, have not mentioned Amber Heard at all. They have to deal with that. That's a little bit easier, but they do have to deal with the Ezra Miller situation. And they've been quiet on that. I guess Ezra Miller hasn't been arrested in a couple of weeks, so maybe they're just hoping that'll all pass under the bridge. But regardless, Zaslav has to prove to fans that he is committed to creating properties with these characters, because we want to go to the movies and watch these movies, right? If the movies are good, we're going to shell our money out. We want to be able to enjoy TV series on HBO Max. especially now that the CW is, I think, for all intents and purposes, dead in the water. I'd love to see kind of a wrap-up, maybe TV movie on HBO Max. They still have right now, we still have the HBO Max properties, Titans, Doom Patrol. We just got another season, we're in the midst of another season of the animated Harley Quinn, with very little fanfare, and very no mention from the comic book community. The Legion of Super Pets movie came out this weekend, and I did see that with my kids. They really enjoyed it. It was a cute movie, and I do think that historically DC has done a good job, through Teen Titans Go and Superhero Girls, this of using their animated products to bring in new young fans. They had a series of books about the DC Super Pets that my daughter had read when she was younger. She's now 12. She goes, that reminded me of my childhood. I'm like, it's still your childhood. You're 12. But she had really loved those books and then got to see these characters play out on the screen. So it was a lot of fun for her. A different perspective than most of us who are not 12. But regardless, she'll be disappointed there's no Batgirl movie coming up. And who knows what's next? Blue Beetle? Are we still going to see the Blue Beetle movie? Where are we going? We have no idea what's going on with the Flash movie. And what is kind of in the, coming down the pike, we don't know. You have the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman universe stuff, which is kind of separate. We have a Joker 2 coming out. So the stuff that's not connected to a central universe, similar to what Marvel does, seems to be marching on. But are we going to get DC content? So the Batgirl movie was scrapped. I'm disappointed because my daughter's a huge fan of Batgirl. It looked like it was going to be fun with Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. It seems to me as though the people involved are talented enough to put out a decent movie. I highly doubt that the movie was irredeemable. They put out some pretty bad movies over the years. The funny thing is, though, and I've said this before, and it's so frustrating as a DC fan, DC has put out good stuff. They put out really good stuff over the last year or two. The Suicide Squad film by James Gunn I thought was really good. Peacemaker was an amazing TV series. You go back a couple of years, Watchmen was winning all the Emmys. The Joker won an Academy Award for Best Actor. And the Batman movie has been really well received. So they've been putting out good product. There's just been no cohesion to it. It's just kind of been, they've been fortunate enough to here and there have some good creators. Aquaman was a good movie. The first Wonder Woman movie was a good movie. Shazam was a good movie. Second Wonder Woman had its weaknesses. And please call the bots off and let's not call for a restoration of the Snyderverse. Let's move on from that. And I'm pretty sure, of the faults he has, Zaslav is going to move on from that. Snyder had his chance. The grim, gloomy, rainy DC universe. Can we move on from that and give us something new? But right now, there's no direction at Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's just laying waste to what's already been there. So let me know what you think about this news. We also have the cancellation of the Flash TV series. It had run its course. But what comes next for that universe? They had built up to this big Crisis on Infinite Earths event, which was amazing and great, bringing everything together. And then right after that, everything just went completely downhill. Obviously, shortly after that, we ran into the pandemic. They had to stop filming most of the shows. Things were delayed, but they never really put all of those pieces together and paid off the things that they had hinted at. Give us those characters in an HBO Max movie. How about that? Just do some fan service. David Zaslav, do something for the fans. Until next time, this is Jim saying enjoy your comics and if they ever release them, enjoy your movies.